you're at a CDA meeting and they say, all right, Jerry, tell us how you're doing all this. What would be the best possible advice you could give to your fellow dealers?
You got to hire people who know what they're doing. And, the ones who understand what the applications, are, and they understand the landscape, and they understand, the customer, and not only what the customer wants, but obviously what the customer needs.
That's the typical strategy of going into something new. Hire an SME. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, and there's
But
always
of all the options you have going for you, what would you recommend they start with first?
which has been, um, that's a very hard question, and they're all difficult. These are businesses that, for the most part, pre-COVID, we didn't know. The first one that we got into was the voice over internet, and of course, like everybody else, into the MSP business. And these are businesses that take a long time to learn, and obviously to get to scale as well. And the best advice, if that's what I could offer to somebody, would be if you're not prepared, to see it through and get to a level, you'll never be successful if you don't make those investments, particularly in the people. And just like every other thing, it's not one guy. Unless you're going to sub everything out and you're just going to be a broker, we want to maintain control with our clients, or our end user clients, and we
Right.
want them to know that, we're the one phone call that they need to make, and there's not another phone call behind that.
Okay. So the idea is printing on substrates to get you to open the door into a whole other area. Is the recurring revenue much like the recurring revenue you experienced in copiers and MFPs?
In a certain sense, yeah, because the media is, the client has to buy the media. The client, certainly, needs our service delivery, technical service delivery, and all of the other things that go along with it. Even to the extent of programming, where they would need technical help and so on. And these are things that obviously under contract are gonna create recurring revenue.
What's the response been from the sales team?
Um, that's a difficult question. Obviously, everybody likes the idea of having more arrows in the quiver, so to speak, right? On the other hand, they don't necessarily like the learning experience that goes with it,
Sure.
uh, because there is a lot to learn. It's not only the applications, but how to explain them, so on and so forth. And we kind of toggle back and forth with the sales teams about how we make the best presentation and let at least our current customers know that this is stuff that we have and can benefit them. And if they don't take the time to get educated and get fluent, they're never going to make that presentation, certainly not in the right way. So this is an ongoing issue, and I know that all of our peers, are having to deal with the same issue.
Well, I'll tell you, it's this year's survey has been a real eye opener in so many ways. CJ and his team have done an incredible job with help from a analytical firm who did a lot of the numbers crunching for us this year.
Hmm.
It's very clear, and CJ was showing me a whole section of the survey where they talk about what their values are and what they're looking at and why they making comments about uh, different vendors, leasing companies, etc. What's on their mind, and it's very clear. It's very consistent. We got to get something else.
Yep.
We got to do more. We got to do more of something else because what's going on is not productive. And rather than sitting there and waiting to get hit in the head, you got to get out there and it's in many ways the way we look at it is it's like you're starting a whole new business.
It is a new business, and all of them. It's not only, Pro AV was a brand new business for us. Managed services was a brand new business for us. Cloud services was a brand new business for us. The physical security business was a brand new business for us. And, the obviously, at least in our case, I shouldn't say obviously, but it was obvious to me from the beginning that we had a pretty steep learning curve and we were going to make some mistakes.
Yeah, I look. I think you and I have known a lot of dealers through the years, and it's so easy to pick out the winners because they were all very consistent, in my opinion, in what they were doing. That didn't mean they did exactly the same thing. It's how they approached the products and how they developed the sales knowledge, the service capability, and how to maximize the benefits that it
Sure.
provided.
Sure.
And
But,
it's
Frank,
just
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I
no,
just want
no.
to
Go
make
ahead.
I just want to make this one thing clear. We couldn't have done it without our peers. There were other adopters of this stuff who are and continue to be very generous, with us. And, that really accelerated our entry and into these various new businesses. And there are just plenty of folks out there who some even competitors, to be perfectly honest, and I think that, better than anybody, who, really, really did help us. And the industry itself is really structured around that. You have a BTA, and you have the CDA and the other groups of best practices sharing and the like, and that's really helped. This whole entire industry of being able to count on people who are sharing experiences. And to my knowledge, and I have obviously again know a lot of companies in all the years I've been in the business. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of companies, and I know a lot of industries. And this is a very unique situation that we have in our industry where this is really available to them.